Everything in life for me didn't come easy. It's always been a struggle. And I questioned God for a long time about that. Like, why are you making things so hard for me? My childhood, my adolescence, like, why? And now I understand.
You do have a recovery story,
Right.
which is incredible. And you've gone well beyond just being sober.
I was living in a homeless shelter. I ended up doing 3 months in jail. At that time, I had been charged as a habitual felon. It's hard because it's almost like I lived a double life. My mother was with someone who was abusive, and he was a severe alcoholic.
Can I get to a place in my life if I am homeless, if I'm struggling with an addiction?
When I started making living amends, is when the miracles started happening and the change started occurring within me.
Between you and your husband, you are responsible for some of our recovery homes, actually purchasing homes for us to be able to put folks into.
It's my first deal, and it's me sitting on a stack of lumber and so happy, and I'm smiling. And in the back of the picture, there was a church because the property was across the street from a church, and it's a cross.
You know each other from recovery. She whispers in your ear, I have a dream. I want to build recovery homes, transitional homes for folks with substance use disorders.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to Living on Incline, sponsored by Recovery Alive and hosted by, me, John Eklund, licensed clinical social worker, ordained pastor, and founder of Recovery Alive. Now, on this podcast, you are going to be challenged to push past limits of mediocrity and all the toxic mindsets that have you stuck. Living on Incline is an invitation to fully explore your God-given potential with reckless abandon. We have a misery-back guarantee on this podcast where settling is never an option, suffering is part of growth, and life change is guaranteed, or your misery back. The first day of the rest of your life starts right now.
Well, hey, everybody, we are on Living on Incline here again. Thank you so much for joining us. Hit that subscribe button, all that good stuff. I have Jessica Hicks
That's right.
with me in the studio. Solomon's hanging out with us too. And I think the most important question we need to start with is, what did you have for breakfast? This is fascinating to me. Yeah.
I actually stopped by Harris Teeter on the way here and grabbed a quick Slim Jim.
A Slim Jim for breakfast that's quite a choice. That is quite a choice.
It's protein. It's 6 grams of protein.
Okay.
I don't know what else is in it, but
I don't want to know what else. We don't want to know what else is in it. And we were talking, Solomon and I didn't get from you, but we're kind of on board with that because I'm a late snacker, like really late at night. I cannot control myself. Do you snack at night?
Yes. After my son and my husband go to sleep, then it's like free range.
Free range snacking.
I have the kitchen to myself. I just go in there and just start eating everything.
Just standing in front of the pantry. That's what I stand in front
of the pantry.
I do that. And just look at the I don't sit down with it. I just sit there and hover. That's a problem.
It is.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us. And we were kind of having a conversation before we started that this is a kind of a next level recovery podcast. Is getting to a place where I've got some healing in my life. Or maybe somebody's even watching this or listening to it and they're not in recovery. What's next level, exploring our potential. You do have a recovery story, which is incredible. And you've gone well beyond just being sober, which is a huge accomplishment, well beyond getting your life kind of back together. And you've risen to a level of success that is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. But like, we're having this conversation beforehand. You're like, it's a little uncomfortable for me to talk about like my level of success. But this is what I think is so important for anybody who's starting in a place where they're going, I'm just starting my journey in recovery. What's possible? And you are what's possible. That's why I love having you here. And thank you for doing this, by the way, coming all the way out here. What's possible? Can you tell us a little bit about where you are right now, business-wise, as a professional in your family life? Just talk about what's possible a little bit. And I know, again, This is a little uncomfortable for you. You said
Mhm.
it feels like kind of like bragging, right?
A little bit, but I mean, boasting, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
It's hard not talking about where I'm at today without talking about my recovery journey.
Oh, 100%.
You know, so
Right.
it's like, because in the beginning, I can remember my sponsor at the time had me write out my ideals
Mm.
when I was living in a homeless shelter. And it was pretty basic. I mean, nothing. If I like,
And you remember what you wrote down?
yeah, I mean, it was just basic stuff like
Yeah.
shelter, a good relationship, that someone doesn't yell at me or call me names. You
The
know,
bar
like,
was low.
my bar was so low.
Yeah.
And I
But
was
that would have been
thinking
a
about,
massive improvement to have those things.
absolutely,
Mhm.
like those simple things. And
Yeah.
so,
Do you remember? Oh, so it was a roof over your head,
yeah,
somebody who's not abusive
right, yeah,
or mildly unabusive.
and just to feel peace.
Feel peace.
Yeah, all those things have happened, but I couldn't even think what I have now.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
That's right.
My mind wasn't there yet.
Right.
Like, I didn't think I'm okay. I'm like, at this point, like, let's just be alive,
Right.
be able to hold a conversation. Like, my mind was nowhere near where I'm at today.
Yeah.
So
You had
it's just been,
well, that's
blows
it.
my
I mean,
mind.
that's the journey that I think
Mhm.
is what makes somebody wonder if can I get to a place in my life if I am homeless, if I'm struggling with an addiction, if I have a mental health issue and I can't stay out of treatment or whatever. Can I get to a place of just having a roof over my head, having the basics in life? Can I get to a place where you are?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're saying that's a
can.
hard thing though for somebody in that place to
Early
even
on, it is
dream or
almost
imagine.
out of reach.
Yeah.
You know,
But it's not.
But it's not.
Right.
Yes. And
Right.
you have me here to show
To
people that.
squeeze everything
Yeah.
that's possible. And we just had Casey and Tisha on here to say that maybe part of getting to a place of not just being sober,
Mhm.
but staying sober and thriving
Mhm.
takes believing that there's more than those initial ideals, like striving every day to go like, what else am I capable of? Like, that's actually how we stay sober. That's how we get to a place where we stick with this stuff. That's kind of a working theory. And that's why I started this, Jess, is like, I want to see, because I don't know. I every day watch people continue to relapse and struggle. And I go like, what's the difference? Why did you make it? And
Right.
I believe something I'm starting to see is people who think maybe every day there's more than just sobriety. And you found that. So what are you doing now? What's your world look like right now? More than a roof over your head.
Right now, I actually still work for a builder. And I've worked there for 6 years. In my job, I can remember at the time right before I took this position, I was cutting hair and I had a phone call and they were like, you're tired of being on your feet all day. This is an office position. And I said, well, I know nothing. And when I say nothing, like I didn't know how to send an email.
Right.
Like I knew nothing about office work. And I took a chance in that moment. I can remember having fear. And I talked to my boss, my old boss, about it. And she's like, this is an opportunity.
Yeah.
Which is strange because I was a pretty good employee at that time.
Yeah.
So she was losing me. And she's like, this is it. You got to do it.
Because she saw something in you.
Absolutely. Oh, always. Always. She is one of my best friends now. She was my old boss who fired me multiple times when I worked for her. And when it's hard not to talk about the amends process because honestly, when I'm thinking about that and you're asking me what happened, like when was it? When did you decide? When I started making living amends is when the miracles started happening and the change started occurring within me.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, this isn't enough. I need more. Maybe I'm not meant just to do this.
Right.
So early on, probably 2 years sober, because it took a while for me to get out of the healing transitions. And I started dating Robbie, which is now my husband. And he had a suggestion because when I tell you, like, I dug myself deep, I was in the trenches. I owed everyone money.
Yeah.
I'm still in my hometown.
Yeah.
Which is hard to walk around in when you've harmed a lot of people.
Right.
And he said, I was cutting hair and we get paid cash every day. And he said, I'm going to make these envelopes for you. And every day you come home, you just put some money in the envelopes. And I did that for probably 2 years.
Yeah.
Every day. And I did not want to do it.
Kind of like the Dave Ramsey method.
I guess so.
Financial peace. Putting having categories, putting money in those envelopes.
That's exactly what I did. And he put it in a safe. And then one day he said, hey, you have enough to pay this person back. Do you want to do it?
Was that shocking to you that you had enough when he?
Absolutely. Yeah. But like, I didn't know how to manage money. I needed that.
You were capable of making it. It was hard for you to, because of what you've been through, to imagine.
I was never taught those life skills.
Yeah, right.
Like those, we are complete opposites. I'm so grateful for my husband. He's everything that I'm not. And, and it works well.
Yeah.
And he taught me, take the money and give it back to him. And so I remember one of the biggest ones, it was an attorney I owed like $3,500 to. And I'll never forget, I walked in there and I still had the envelope with cash.
Yeah.
And I won't say his name, but he too is in recovery. And he said, Jessica? I said, hey, I'm not here. I don't need your services.
Yeah.
I have some money for you. I want to pay you back. And he stopped in his tracks and he went and got his buddy, his partner. And he said, you won't believe who's here trying to pay us back.
Wow.
And so I did that with
How good did that feel?
Probably one of the best feelings.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
And that's where I started building confidence.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I have to talk about those things because that's when it started.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Building yourself up.
So I'm going to get sober. Look, these people, I owe money, but I just can't deal with that right now. But like you're climbing that mountain.
Absolutely.
Like you're just every day going like a little bit more to be able to hand somebody an envelope with $3,500 cash in that envelope is more than those initial ideals.
Absolutely.
It's a crazy level of success in that moment. And then you just keep.
Yeah.
Did that give you confidence? Like I can do more.
Absolutely. That's why that moment was so important to me because imagine holding your head down and then each time you do that, you're able to lift, and you're able to like look people in the eye.
Yeah.
And that's when I said, wow, maybe I can do more.
Right.
And so it wasn't just him. I had several people and it was,
you're paying people back,
I'm paying people back. I'm doing what, my sponsor's telling me to do and I'm taking action.
And you're working as a barber, which you're distinguishing.
And I was really good at. I was really good at it. I loved my job. And I got a phone call with an offer to be an assistant for a development company, a land development company, which I knew nothing about.
Can't send an email.
And I said, you know what? I'll do it.
In that initial ideal list, achieving those things, hitting the $3,500 cash moment and probably a lot more of those.
Right.
That's probably what gets you to a place where you say, I can do this.
Exactly.
I can't send an email, but I can do this.
It's a domino effect.
I can do hard things. I can do things I never thought I could do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you're constantly challenging yourself by living by principles for one. Yeah, people are telling me to do it, but God was working on my heart, to be able to feel that. Like, this is important. I need to do this. And then as you do that, opportunities come.
And it just keeps coming.
And they keep coming.
Uh-huh.
And that's how that's my experience.
Right. And
when
today.
And today, yes.
Not just working for some folks, but like
No.
between you and your husband, you are responsible for some of our recovery homes, actually purchasing homes for
Yes.
us to be able to put folks into. And that takes a level of success on your end to have been able to give back on that level. And so, okay, you're not going to get into this.
No, I will talk about my first land deal. So, my business, he's actually my boss, but also he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, which mentorship is everything. Huge.
Yeah.
And he gave me an opportunity. He was uneducated, like myself. But he saw grit in me, and he said, I'm going to have you start looking at land. And I was like, okay. I didn't ask him. I just said, whatever you want me to do, I'm willing to do it. And I did a lot of research, and I learned topography, and
look at that.
I sat at a desk and I taught myself basically, and I rode around with him all day, looking at land, looking at deals. What could we put here? What's your vision? And then you look at the zoning, and I mean, and it was really fun to be able to kind of vision a piece of dirt and then say, what could we do with that? What could it be? So we found a piece of property. My first piece of property was in Smithfield. And I found, it was a little under an acre.
Smithfield, North Carolina,
off Langdon Avenue. And his wife was, his late wife, she was phenomenal, and she was an engineer. So she drew up a project and said, do you and Robbie want to do this with us? We said, absolutely. We'll do all the work.
Wow.
Like whatever it is you need me to do, I'm willing to do it. And that's what I did. And it's funny, I wish I would have brought the picture, because I have a picture, and that was my first deal. And it's me sitting on a stack of lumber and so happy, and I'm smiling. And in the back of the picture, there was a church, because the property was across the street from a church, and it's a cross.
Oh, wow.
And that was my first picture. And it was, or my first land deal. It ended up being a really good one.
Yeah.
We were able to put 6 units on under an acre. And we sold 2, kept 2. And we've tried to keep that momentum. And
how long ago was that?
6 years.
6 years. And since then,
yes,
it's been some more land deals.
Yes. So after that one went pretty well. And my boss, Mitch, he's also my business partner. He is, he's like, listen, luckily he saw something in me, and he was able to help me with resources. He introduced me to bankers. He was my connect, my shoe in, and I took full advantage.
He saw something in you.
He saw something in me, and so I just started looking for land 24/7, and then slowly he said, "You know what? Maybe we can buy some rental properties." And it's interesting how God is in all the details, because my husband his family was a group of builders in real estate. My dad's a general contractor. And then here comes this new partner and mentor that I have. And like all of it aligned.
Right.
It just all aligned so well.
Yeah. Well, it's momentum.
Yeah.
And I think we can start maybe touching on how dark things were early on in your life. Like what was the bottom? You were talking about the top, some incredible success in real estate. You and your husband are doing some amazing things financially, but there's negative momentum too in there. Like one bad decision. Did you, like in your own recovery process, I think when I was doing my inventory, I could see like how one bad decision was a chain reaction of pretty horrible things. Just like one good decision can be
absolutely
like what you're talking about. I made some good decisions, met this person, said yes to this, good things happen. Negative momentum can put you into some dark places too. So how did you end up getting to like your bottom? Like, where did things start in your addiction and some of the issues that you had early on? Can you talk about kind of the beginning of how
Sure.
that started?
Yeah, so there was a lot of trauma. I definitely struggled, and I struggle now with abandonment
Mm-hmm.
and security. Um, it's hard because it's almost like I lived a double life.
Mm.
Um, my mother was with someone who was abusive, and he was a severe alcoholic.
Mm.
So there was a lot of fighting and fear, and
Real early in your life?
very early.
Mhm.
I mean, I was in constant fear,
Yeah.
and for a child, like a fear of everything.
Yeah.
You know, is she hurt? Is she
A lot of
gonna be
a lot of
okay?
vigilance early on for
Oh,
you. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I was a happy kid, given the
Yeah.
circumstances. Um, and even early on, you know, like even in those circumstances, I can remember trying to be the best, do good.
That was your coping, maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
possibly. I wanted people to see me in a light that they didn't see what was really going on.
Yeah, different than what was going on at home.
Right. Yeah. So I had great friends. I was pretty good in school up until I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I always ask myself, like, what was it? What was it that made me go off track? Because I had all the pieces where I could,
Yeah, a lot of
you know,
testimonies will say, I remember it was this moment, somebody brought me a bag of weed, or,
right.
I had a moment where I was just like,
Yeah, but it's
my
bigger than
parents
that.
left or something. But for you, it was a much like more of a process. Huh?
Yeah, well, there was when I say trauma, like, and I don't like talking about it a lot, but our neighbors, my mom was shot in front of me and my sister by my neighbor. My stepdad was shot, I think it was like 4 times because the music was too loud. You know, and so that's the kind of chaos.
Were you there when that happened?
Yes.
Boy, so you witnessed
Yeah.
that?
And it was so then we moved in with my dad while my mom was healing. And by the way, me and her have a great relationship, and that's all been restored.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for her.
Amen. Mm-hmm.
But the trauma, the chaos, it was just constant. And there was never really a sense of safety for me.
How old were you when that incident happened?
Let's see, probably 6 or 7.
Wow.
Yeah, and my sister, she probably remembers much more because she's 6 years older than me. But it was traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. But that was normal.
Sort of a normal.
You don't realize it was
Right.
traumatic until
This is my life. Doesn't everybody have this going on in their life? Yeah.
right.
Wow, Jessica.
So,
And
yeah,
then in your middle school, high school, pretty popular
yeah.
kid
I
doing
think
sports, all that kind of
I
stuff.
did sports. I was a cheerleader. Actually, made varsity my freshman year.
Of course you did.
Of
course you did.
Yeah, I mean, I had all the pieces.
Yeah.
But for something in me, didn't feel deserving. It was almost like a self-sabotage. And maybe it was lack of self-esteem or knowing this is what people see, but this isn't the truth.
Right.
And that haunted me. You know, that attitude and that mentality is a toxic mentality. And I feel like that was it. That once you start thinking that negative mindset,
Yeah.
it's a horrible place to be.
Well, it's a horrible thing as a kid to think I'm living a double life.
Mm-hmm.
Where a lot of times you think of a double life, it's someone who's making bad choices, living a little hypocritically, like making bad choices, like
Right.
having an affair and then having a family. But for you, it wasn't your fault what was happening at home. It wasn't a choice you were making. Did you feel some responsibility for that?
One thing, and I still struggle with it. I felt guilt as a little girl. And, you know, it's hard to explain the heaviness of that. But I mean, I just felt guilty. I felt
All the time.
all the time. And I don't know why, you know, like, and then in a way it's a blessing because now, even with being successful and how my life is transformed, I have a deep passion for people and having compassion, and I'm able to literally feel
Empathy. Yeah.
what someone is feeling, which sucks sometimes.
Empaths they suffer. We suffer watching people struggle. Yeah.
You know, sometimes I can physically get ill
Yeah.
when I'm thinking about someone's situation.
We were so powerless as a kid watching all this stuff happen.
Yeah. I mean, and looking back, you can almost like see yourself standing in a room, things are flying around, and you're just like, wait a minute, is this it? This is where I'm supposed to be? Because I've always believed in God, even early on. I mean, I knew deep down, this isn't right.
Yeah.
He has more, like there's more. So.
But it was hard to see that.
It is.
When you're living in chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So when did the addiction kick in? How did that all start? So did you end up did you go to college?
No,
Okay.
I did not. Actually, I'd say I started taking random, drugs early 16.
Okay.
Pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
And it immediately made me feel better.
Because you were feeling shame.
Guilt.
You're feeling chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thinking in your life, I'm living some double life. I just need probably a pain you didn't even know how to express or just it felt better.
A lot of and I had a good group of friends, but I didn't want them to know.
Yeah.
So that's when I say the double life. We were in a good group. But
you're not taking them home having slumber parties at your house.
No, I'm not going to let you know all of it. I'll let you know a little bit.
Okay.
So it was hard for me. Looking back, I don't really have many friendships today from my youth.
Right.
Deep, connections. Just because I probably didn't let a lot of people in. As a protection, a way to protect myself.
So things 16, 17, 8, you're starting to use a little bit. When did things start to hit that big decline?
Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Recovery Alive, a Christ-centered recovery movement helping people rebuild their lives, restore relationships, and renew their faith. Through safe recovery homes, life-changing support groups, and personalized coaching, Recovery Alive provides hope and a clear path forward for those battling addiction, mental health challenges, or life's toughest seasons. I've seen firsthand how this community changes lives, and yours could be next. Learn more at recoveryalive.com.
So I remember, I don't know exactly what year it was in high school, but I did get kicked off the cheerleading team.
Okay.
And I'm not going to go into exactly what happened, but it was a little unfair because not other people did, but I did. And that was my first deep-seated resentment.
Okay.
So when that hit, it was that resentment came and I was like, you know what? I didn't want to be on that team anyways, and that negative thinking, the screw it. Yeah. And once that happened, it was a trigger for me.
Wow.
And it was almost like that gave me the excuse, once again, I'm abandoned. I really enjoyed this. I was really good at it. And now I can't do it.
So you remember it wasn't just falling off the edge. You jumped off it.
I did.
I'm done.
I did. I did. And the relief that came when I did use was so powerful. Once you're not feeling that way anymore, it was like, all right, let's go.
How dark did things get? Did you graduate?
I don't know how. I had to go to summer school.
Grace of God.
I was living with my sister. She had 2 small kids. It was just me, her, and my nephews. And I did graduate. I did not go to college. And I also want to say the importance of having mentors. Even early on, looking back, I had a dance teacher who really believed in me. And she poured into me. And I still like walked away. She
Yeah.
went as far as like filling out a college application for me.
Wow.
Yeah, she really, which those people are important today,
Right.
you know? So anyways, I decided not to go, and my
Well,
family
even the
needed me.
difference, if you just take a second and contrast this builder who believes in you
Mhm.
and the dance teacher who believes in you, there was one difference. At the time that the dance teacher believed in you, you didn't believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
And by the time you got to this builder, you're like, I can get in line with that, even if there's still some insecurity. But at that time, there's not enough she could have done, probably.
No, it just wasn't meant to be.
Right.
And that's why, like, the importance of working on myself. And it was years, so there was a lot. Like, so
Sure.
from high school to, I think the first time I was arrested was 2006. So it was right after. I graduated in 05. First arrest, 06. And these aren't just like, this is a pretty serious charge.
What can you tell us what it was?
Oh, it was trafficking.
Oh.
Yeah. And so went through all that, had an expungement. My dad was like, oh, you know, we'll never do this again. You know, you got to get your life together.
Mm-hmm.
And from 06 to, it was just off and on rehabs, trying to get better, you know, the cycle that we do.
You weren't really serious about
I was
getting
19,
clean. Yeah.
you know, and I just didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know where to go. I didn't
It's
know
hard
who to turn to.
It's probably even hard to process it. Like, what is that 19-year-old going through? She's using, she's selling.
Yeah. I mean, I would just put myself, and it was the people I was around, all of it, you know, everything that comes along with it.
Multiple rehab efforts. Your dad's trying to get, your parents are trying to get you.
Mm-hmm.
They see you falling apart, self-destructing.
Yes.
Yeah. After 2021, things got worse.
So between, and it's hard to remember a lot of it, but between 06 and 2019 is my sobriety date, December 2019.
Oh, so there's a lot of years.
So it was a lot of years. Yeah. And honestly, like, I went in and out of probably 10 different treatment centers. And then I was arrested at least 10 times.
Wow. Same issues?
Yeah. And well, these were like possession charges, which it doesn't matter in state of North Carolina. A possession charge is going to be a felony.
Mm-hmm.
So it added up pretty quickly.
Jail time?
Yes. Jail time. I ended up doing 3 months in jail, and then they sent me to Black Mountain, to a rehab. It's like a 90-day program for women up there. And once I got out of that, I had good intentions. But I think it's important to the placement. What happens after you get out of that place? What's your plan?
Right.
You know?
That's why transition homes are so important, right?
Exactly. That's why I have a passion for it.
Right.
And so, anyways, towards the end, things were really, really dark. And
can you give us a picture of that? What is that? Like, what, you said 2018, 17?
Yes. So that was, at that time, I'd been charged as a habitual felon.
Yeah.
So the gig was up.
You're sitting here, I'm thinking this girl was it's hard to believe.
It is.
You're sitting here, I was a habitual felon in 2017, 18. Wow.
Yeah. Habitual class E.
Wow.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds bad.
It does sound bad.
Yeah. So, and I remember I had a probation officer at the time, and I wish I could find her. She was like, Jessica. I mean, she really tried. Because even with all of that weighing on me, with all these consequences, it didn't matter. Because at that point, I was suicidal.
Okay.
I mean, it got to the point where I no longer wanted to fight. This is what I've done with my life. And the hopelessness was,
right.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But something intervened, and I think my body physically broke. So when I'm telling you, it's like, it wasn't just a spiritual breaking. That had happened a long time.
Right.
This was my physical body was starting to break down. So I'm laying on the couch at my dad's house and so sick, physically sick, throwing up, couldn't put my shoes on my feet because my mind, like I was going through detox from benzos so bad that I was hallucinating.
Right. Were you doing that by yourself?
What do you mean?
Benzos is pretty scary to get off of benzos.
Yes, I was doing it by myself.
Yeah, because alcohol and benzos, you're not supposed to do that by yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think it was, I don't even know how long I was in it for, but my dad picked me up off the couch like a child, cradled me, and he got me dressed. And he said, I don't know what to do anymore, but he took me to the hospital, the Smithfield Hospital, actually. And then they said, well, we don't know what to do with her, but you need to take her. I don't know how many hospitals he took me to, but eventually I stayed in the hospital for 10 days. Then after that, they sent me to Butner. And it took several weeks for me to even be able to talk to you.
You were just that sick.
Physically.
The drugs.
Yes, from the benzos, hallucinating. Yeah, the detox. I mean, the doctor was like, I can't believe you survived that.
Really?
Yeah, he was just shaking his head. So from Butner Hospital, I went to Healing Transitions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's where even like day 5 of I don't remember much about it. I was still coming out of it. But I remember that I had court coming up, and those girls in the shelter the day before court, which these are homeless women. They don't have much. They're in the same situation I am. And they grabbed my hand and they asked if they could pray with me. It makes me want to cry because in that moment, they didn't have a lot to offer, but they held my hand and they prayed with me before I went to court. And I thought I was going away it was a 88-month sentence. So I was like, I appreciate the prayer, but I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. And in the courtroom, my dad picked me up at the Healing Transitions. They made me take a buddy to make sure, like another girl that was in the program. Mm-hmm. So it was me, this other girl, and my dad, and we went to court.
And she's a complete stranger, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So we went to court, and I don't know what was put on that judge's heart. I don't know.
Those ladies did pray.
They prayed. And he just said, you know what? You're a habitual felon. Like, this is not supposed to happen. Like, you're immediately supposed to go to prison for a very long time. But you're at the healing place. And I said, yes, sir. And then my dad spoke, which he doesn't talk.
Oh.
And if he does talk, you can't barely understand him. So he said, listen, he stood up because the judge asked if he had anything to say. And he said, yes, sir. My daughter's not a bad person. She's just really sick. And I don't know, that comment changed that judge's heart. And he court mandated me to finish the program. And then the journey began.
Wow.
So
judges have so much
power. Yeah.
I love drug court. I
was in drug court too at one point.
I wish Johnson County would wrap their head around that. But yeah, that a judge would be able to have that kind of a difference in your life. And then I'm just sitting here, I'm going to get emotional just thinking like your dad picking you up, physically lifting you up off that couch and just taking you from hospital to hospital. Oh. And then that moment in court speaking on your behalf. That's well,
I think about it. Really, and I think about this often, like, what if he didn't?
Right.
Look how many women and men are in those recovery homes. What if he didn't? And how powerful, and I've written him a letter. and I will always be grateful.
Yeah.
But like, I try to honor him. And this is why this is why when Tisha told me I want a recovery house, and I know like at this point, I'm not, I'm kind of building my portfolio. I'm working really hard. I have some stake in the game, and my partner starting to listen to me a little bit more. Maybe she, you've learned a little bit. Let me see what. And I said, hey, I have an idea. And when I'm telling you, I said it the same day, and
I remember
how quick it happened.
it's crazy.
Because when I'm laying there at night and I start thinking, I'm like, this could really work. You know what? And then when I drove by the house, I said, Mitch, do we have time to drive by somewhere? And he said, yeah, let's go. And like, I dropped the idea, and at that moment, God intervened and he said, yeah, let's do it.
So you're dabbling, just so people understand, you're just dabbling in real estate.
I've built some houses, me and my husband, me and Mitch, we've sold a couple.
You're a person in recovery. You know where God is taking you from.
Right.
You're starting to see some potential as an earner. This is a pretty impressive earner, going from a barber to doing some work with this builder to going like, I'm now starting to see like I can do something pretty impressive, successfully.
Yeah.
Make some money, and then this Tisha Temple comes along.
She comes, wow.
Which you guys know each other from the home, right? From the healing transitions?
Yes. And AA.
And AA. That's so cool. And so you know each other from recovery. She whispers in your ear, I have a dream. I want to build recovery homes, transitional homes for folks with substance use disorders. And she says, hey, can you help me with this? And you're not like some super wealtty person out there.
No.
You're just getting your feet
And these
wet.
are long-term investments too.
It's
so
crazy. People need to understand that too. Like you're not going to see this immediate return.
No, these are like, my cash flow isn't that great, but luckily on paper, as we're building assets, we're able to, borrow.
Right.
And
the equity and all that. But here in this moment, when was this Growing Grace? Was that how long ago was it?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And so you're just a couple of years into this. And so she asked you to do this. This was a step of faith for you.
It was 100%. 100%. It was literally, I can remember lying in bed and I felt a tug. It was God pushing me.
Wow.
I will never forget that. Because it was so strong.
Yeah.
It was like, felt like a push, like this nudging me. This is move. Yeah. He was saying move. And don't ask questions.
And you could ignore it. But you did. That's the difference. That's what I'm fascinated with. Like the people like you, there's a lot of people I think who get nudged by God. A lot of people who God builds them a runway and they just don't, they don't go down that runway. What fuels that yes? Like, what do you think that is that's different about you? And again, I know this is uncomfortable for you, but it is like, so we're talking before we started this interview and I'm going like, what makes you someone who's been able to be successful beyond just sobriety? And you're kind of like, well, I had a lot of good people in my life, but I'm like, a lot of people have good people in their life. John had a lot of opportunities. A lot of people have opportunities. Can you find something? Because that's what I'm after. I'm selfish in this podcast, Solomon. I just want to know the question, I want to have an answer. That's why I'm having guests like you on here, because you have some ingredient you have that you're pushing beyond what a lot of other people have pushed into. And so can you give me some ingredient that you have that helps you to say yes to these things?
I think it's naturally, I'm a very artistic person.
Okay. Creativity.
Creativity. And that's kind of my gift.
Okay.
I'm able to vision.
Yeah.
If you think about it, and it goes back to hair cutting.
Yeah. Okay.
Because when you look in the, people would say, how does it look? And I'm like, you need to look in the mirror. And they're like, what? And I'm like, because I need to see the silhouette.
Oh.
And I don't know, it sounds stupid, but like you have to look at everything from different angles.
That's good.
You know,
That's
like
really good.
it can look like a great haircut when you're looking at it from one way. And then when you move, you're like, ooh, you know, there's a little cliff right there.
Now, why are you looking at my hair right now?
But, you know,
No, 100%.
as long as you're able to, I guess, perspective, and God gave me a new pair of glasses, and
Oh, yeah.
and he was able to tell me that I can do more.
Mm.
And through each day, when I wake up and I make it through the day, what can I do to serve?
Mm-hmm.
Because this money is not our money.
Right. You're a steward.
This money is not our money.
Yeah.
You know, and that's people hold on to that really tight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and it's probably because I've never had anything.
Well, I think I wanted you to say it, but in my head, it's like, I do think that's part of it, right? You know what it's like?
I came from nothing.
Yeah, right.
You know, humble beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'll give it away.
That's
you
it.
know, but
And you
my experience is that when I do, it just keeps coming.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my husband Robbie, he's implanted that seed on me, because he would, at the beginning, like, he would give a lot, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Mm.
You know, like that's a little much, which he does everything in bulk. But I've learned that it's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. It's the truest thing that I've learned since I've, you know, have a couple dollars in my pocket, is that the more I give, the more I get.
Hmm.
And the more I serve and quit thinking about me and what I can get, the opportunities keep coming. And that's been my experience.
I think of the kingdom of God. When you read the Bible and it talks about the kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
kingdom. And the kingdom is not a place, but it's an economy. And Jesus says, seek first the kingdom, and all these things will be added to you. Is that what you're talking about? Is like you do this one thing first, that you just focus on your relationship with God, focus on this economy, that if I give this thing away, I'm going to get a lot more in return. Like just having faith that's how it works.
Faith.
And it works.
Yeah.
And you watch how, but it takes some faith, doesn't it?
It takes a
and
lot
some
of
risk.
But it's maybe that's one of the reasons. Like, I've been a risk taker, obviously. Bad risk.
Right.
Taker. But I think it helps too when you didn't grow up with a lot,
Right.
and you have humble beginnings. Like,
this all can go away and I'll be fine.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a survivor mentality. Like, I'm living in it now.
I think that's what makes people in recovery such good business people.
Absolutely.
Because they can risk it. They can put it all out there.
I'm okay
Not
with
recklessly, but yeah.
Right. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And my mentors taught me a lot too about risk. Because at the beginning, I was like, you know, I don't know about that. And he's like, you got to do it.
Right.
You got to do it if you want to get more.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just learn. I've learned through him and the other owners of my company, because I work a lot with all three of them, to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was a horrible decision maker.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't figure, like, what do I do? What do I do? It
Kind
was
of
a lot of
paralysis of
self-doubt.
analysis.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, make a decision and take action.
What's your next risk? What do you got?
I don't know yet.
Come on, what's the haircut?
I don't know yet. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
But you're always looking, right?
I'm always looking. I want to do more. And right now, for me, I'm in a season of getting grounded spiritually.
Good.
And within my home.
Mm.
I'm not saying it wasn't, but, you know, just spending a lot of time with my son as much as I can and imprinting on him.
How old is your son?
He's 4. Yeah. And that's a whole God story too. Yeah, all of it. And my whole journey through recovery, my marriage, my son, and then business has all been aligned already.
I know a tiny bit about how much you wanted that boy.
More than
How
anything.
difficult that was.
It was extremely difficult but through the struggles,
Mm-hmm.
that's why, like, God, I was listening, I don't know who it was because I'm bad with names, but some podcast, and he was talking about how women, especially, like, they'll struggle, they'll get broken, but watch out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are the ones that you have to watch out for.
That's you.
Because they're on fire.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
You know, and everything in life for me didn't come easy. It's always been a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And I questioned God for a long time about that. Like, why are you making things so hard for me? My childhood, you know, my adolescence, you know, like, why? And now I understand. I understand all that served a purpose.
And that's what the theme has also been here, is that suffering was something you were trying to,
Yes.
all the guests we've had, suffering is something I went from trying to escape
Mm-hmm.
to something I've embraced as this is how I got to this place. Like this has served this purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having Casey on here and hearing Casey say, I shot myself, and I
Right.
would not change one thing about any of those things, you know. And I ask you the same question. If you go back and just say, I not go through that suffering, I know it's a tough, obviously we can't. How much did that suffering serve the purpose of you being right where you are?
I don't think I would be.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would be walking around with blinders on.
Right.
Honest.
And
I
people,
truly,
all the folks I've had here, they say, I choose the suffering.
Yeah. I mean, only because when I tell you that I see things different and my outlook on life is different, it's only through that suffering.
Yeah, that's right.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
I think that's one of the ingredients is embracing that suffering and letting God use it for
Mhm.
whatever he wants to do with it. Because otherwise it's resentment, bitterness.
I
Why are
can't
you
live. Yeah.
shaking my fist at God?
Mm-hmm.
And you're pretty far from there at this point.
Oh yeah. I have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of mine was shame. Shame was a big thing for me.
Living in shame since a very young age. That's a killer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, any of that still there? Some of that guilt you kind of talked about. Sometimes you walk.
Definitely. It's still there. It resurfaces.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, recovery is a journey.
Yeah. Parenting.
And parenting has resurfaced everything for me. And that I'm learning more about myself
Mm-hmm.
being a mother than I did in the years before being sober.
Mm-hmm.
It's another journey.
You're breaking generational dysfunction. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
being. I'm going to have you on here because we'd talk about motherhood
Yeah.
and recovery. That'd be a good subject. That'd be a good thing to talk about. But thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you for
Just
having me.
amazing to see what God has done in your life, but also like I'm full of gratitude for
Yeah.
you. You're a huge part of why we have Recovery Alive homes now, heading towards 12 of them.
That's crazy.
And but it started with you and your faith. That got us all amped. How fast that happened. How it all came together. Your part, your husband's part. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Robbie, for
We're honored.
all that you guys do. And thanks for hanging out and being so vulnerable. This is Living on Incline. We had Jessica, and we're going to continue to put some guests on here who push through some suffering. I'm just curious. I love when we talked about curiosity. I have a curiosity about these things, and hopefully we'll get some more ingredients to how we can go beyond just healing and into growth. That you have so much more potential than you could possibly know. Pushing through suffering is a key. Putting yourself in positions of taking risks. I love that part.
Opportunity. Take the opportunity.
Say yes to the opportunity and just see what happens. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Don't forget, again, hit subscribe. Spotify, anywhere you find podcasts, livingonincline.com. God bless y'all.
Hey, thanks again for joining us on Living on Incline, sponsored by Recovery Life. Would you do us a favor and just hit that subscribe button, share with your friends? And again, we want to explore our full God-given potential and see what we are capable of. So again, hit that subscribe button, and thank you so much for joining us on Living on Incline.